And good evening, everybody. Hello and welcome. Welcome back to another episode of the Elendor Chronicles, brought to you by the Component Cast. Before we get on with tonight's episode, of course, as always, we have some housekeeping. First of all, if you want to support us, you can do so by becoming one of our wonderful Twitch subs or joining us on Patreon. Patreon gives us the biggest slice of the pie and helps us create wonderful broadcasts like this one and other fun projects. You can also support us by checking out all of our social media and listening to our royalty-free and using our royalty-free soundtrack wherever you are in your content. It's completely free to use. We won't charge you for it. Just if you'd love to, just share it as well with your friends. Any revenue we take is all from Spotify listens, and if you want high quality WAVs, that's all behind our patronage, but you should be able to get all of it on YouTube. It's all directly tied into like short creation format apps, so like TikTok, Spotify. You can just like search it in the music bar, Instagram, like it's all available there. You can just put it on your content, and we won't take a cent of your money. Like if someone tries to take a cent of your money, please let me know, because I will give you the paperwork that says that's no, not allowed to do that. But anyway, I'm excited for today's episode, so I'm not gonna hold you guys around. We're just gonna go and play some D&D. So see you after the intro. And we return. So, last time, our brave adventurers got up to a new leg of their adventure. Yes, we're towards the end times. Yes, the apocalypse is upon us. But why is that to stop a group of fun-loving adventurers from visiting the world and seeing new places? I jest quite a lot, but in fact, it's not too far from the truth, as for the first time, our adventurers stepped foot into the Azdakian Caliphate, a part of the world known to be cursed by an eternal winter. They saw some veins of it when they visited the Vestilian theocracy, but they'd never been to Azdak itself. But here they found their journey taking them to the capital, to beseech the Caliph for one of the seals of Elendor, the Scales of Law. They use a contact via Ruby's family, a childhood/university friend of Ruby's mother, who diligently managed to get both an in with the Admiralty and then thereby the High Marshal of the Caliphate, who in turn went to their family member, the Caliph. The meeting of the Caliph went surprisingly well, against all of Breton's suspicion. In fact, the Caliph was very amenable to the plight of the party and the world ahead of them, and gave the scales without issue. But he did beseech you our adventurers, to go visit the fabled Ice Witch, who was in fact the creature, the demi-deity that had cursed these lands so long ago, thanks to a prophetic dream or ritual they had undertaken way before the gods had cut their final contact. In it, Oasis, the Mother Wild, had warned the Caliph that if you were to ever enter through his halls, that he was to send you there, as the Ice Witch would have answers for you. With that, and sensing an auspicious amount of help from the Great Beyond, our adventurers set up to journey to the mountains where the Ice Witch lived, not 2 days away. They teamed up with a group, well, 2 individuals, Jawal and Abwa, who were a guide and a driver of a snow machine that would take them to the mountains. Jawal, she helped climb and guide you up the mountain, which would normally be a quite perilous task had you guys not utilized one of the boons from the Platinum Chalice to aid your climb. You did, however, quite peculiarly, see a primordial cloud searching the mountain. Whether they were looking for you or the Ice Witch, it is unknown. But we left off with you entering the halls of the White Ice Witch's lair. Before we get on to the action, however, I do need to pose you a question for you to earn your inspiration, and this one is a simple one. Not last session, not a couple of sessions ago. I gave you the name of the Ice Witch. What is it? Repeat, please, Valymr.
Salwa.
There you go, Salwa, and therefore you get your point of inspiration to use for this session.
Sour?
Salwa. Yeah, Salwa. S-A-L-W-A. We left off as you were walking through almost a glass menagerie of frozen entities that were held in the ice as you wandered some halls. Is there anything you would like to do, friends?
What's the lighting like?
It's enough where you can see, but it's not daylight.
Is the air still really bloody cold?
This whole cave is very, very protected from the wind, so yes, it's cold, but it's not dangerously so right now.
Blurry. There we go.
It's not like going to kill you levels of cold.
Sure.
So we don't need to be drinking up these potions of cold resist yet?
No, not right now.
Okay. Do they last for an hour?
Yeah.
No way onward but upward. Or forward, I suppose.
We have to pass. Did we pass through some? There's doors ahead of us to go to see her, right?
You would assume so. Yes, there's like a you're in. Probably it's been almost like a maze-like corridor that's been very linear. It's not like diverging paths, but you've been clearly guided through a path of these frozen creatures, and now this pathway is widening up to a more door-like gatehouse structure within the lair, which you would assume would go to a main chamber. Jalwa is with you still and is looking a little nervous as they've never been this deep before.
Can I do a divine sense?
Sure.
No location of celestial fiend or undead.
Why did we bring her along in here?
Because of the thing outside.
Because she was going to have to climb back down the mountain by herself.
That too.
And it seemed like the reasonable thing seemed to be, we're gonna just teleport out of here because there's no reason to delay. It'd be a lot safer if you came with us. Like, it'd be a hell of a trip home, but it beats having to deal with all that shit by yourself.
Do we want to suggest she wait here? Here seems relatively safe.
I mean, if we're saying she should wait here, then why didn't we just leave her at the mouth of the cave?
Dolly, I'm sorry, I didn't think of that last night.
That's just what I'm saying. Like, we brought her in, and if we just, she's already here. She's already in the dangerous zone. It just seems more like she's already here with us.
Mm. Was there anything from his divine sense?
2 seconds. Need to look at the rules of divine sense. Always get divine sense and the other one slightly confused at
Detect
how
good and evil and good. Yeah.
You don't get anything right now.
Okay.
But then again, you have a set of thick, icy doors in front of you. And there's thick ice everywhere.
Okay. So do we knock or just go straight in?
Knock, knock. Check the door, make sure it's not going to freeze my hand the moment I touch it, but...
Whilst the door is made of pure ice, it's not like freezing cold to the touch. It almost feels like stone.
Okay.
There isn't an answer. It's not like you knock at the door and it's like, come in. There isn't anything like that. You just take a moment and there's silence.
Okay. I push it open then.
Okay. There's a slight heft to the door until it begins to slide on the icy surface below and just boom. And in front of you is a much darker chamber, but still not one of complete absence of light. It's almost like there's a sort of hollow radiance to the ice itself as fragments of almost like glowing motes of light within the ice speckle through the chamber in a cold blue shimmer. It is a large, almost antechamber within the mountain. And in front of you, you also see 3 statues. Completely crafted in ice. Probably 100 foot away. And you're on almost like a balconied staircase up. There's also clearly, whilst it's all one room, very open plan, there's clear areas of, okay, that area seems to have bookshelves or a cauldron, maybe a cooking area. There is actually a bit of a glow from a fire, or at least the embers of a fire.
Does it feel warmer, colder, or the same in here than it did?
It's the same.
Yeah, same.
But the other thing that catches your eye, there is trees growing in here of pure white bark and blue leaves, which almost fracture through the ice. There is no sign of anyone, however.
Hello? We're told to come see you? Is anyone here?
You just get your voice reverberating around the icy room.
Make my way further in.
Okay. You enter through the precipice of the door. There does feel like there's a bit of a chill in this room, but that's mainly because it opened up into a larger space, more so than anything, you think? But yeah, it's probably an 100-foot, maybe somewhere between 100 and 200-foot room. 3 large statues at one end, and then like next to the staircase you came down, like on the right hand side there's probably like what you would suppose to be like a small living area. To the left, possibly a small like kitchen area. Off to one side there seems to be a large door as well to another chamber, and then in the far corner there seems to be like a little library / shrine area, and then the rest of the room is dominated mostly by these statues and like various trees. Some are like coming out of the ceiling and ripping like down into the room, and then like their canopy cover is like willowing down. Others are like just out of the walls, and it's the same type of tree, it's just in different orientations.
Is these statues, the figures in them seem any kind of recognizable?
Make a history or religion check, Valymr.
I'm going to start off strong with a nat 1.
Hard to say. You're not really much of a patron of the Ice Sculptors Guild back where you are.
These statues are made of ice, then?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything is made of ice, it seems.
Even the fire.
Some of it, well, okay. Furnishings seem to be made of ice.
Even the cauldron.
Yes, actually.
Oh, okay. Is there a liquid bubbling inside it then? If it can you see through
Yes.
the?
You actually hear the bubbling of the cauldron before you see it. Ruby, Bethany, you also entering?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You all enter.
Joel.
She lingers behind you all, but kind of waits more towards the door. She seems, at a glance, kind of unnerved.
To imagine we came all this way for an invitation that they weren't even here for.
Do we make ourselves comfy then and wait for them to arrive?
Do me a favor, Valymr. Check your blindfold. Look around.
I will put on the blindfold.
Okay.
Is it the taking off or the putting on that takes the time? I always forget.
I think it's taking off.
No, other way out. It's putting on. It's reattuning to it almost.
I will spend the
I think
however
it's
long
10
it
minutes,
is
did
to.
we say to readjust?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll spend 10 minutes trying to peer through the fabric.
That's a
Ruby's
really...
gonna go check out the cauldron.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Go over to it.
Okay, chef feet.
Yeah.
Either chef or wizard or sorcerer stuff.
You see a almost Bordeaux wine, vermilion red liquid in the bubbling away in the cauldron.
Identified in any way, or?
How do you propose to identify it?
Well, you know, when all else fails, do the sniff test, but
Sure.
just kind of.
Yeah, I'll allow you to sniff test it. You get like this a real sense of very, very bitter herbs. Mostly.
Probably potion making instead of actual dinner.
if it's dinner, this is a using your chef knowledge, this would be way too overpowering to be a soup. Maybe some sort of sauce for something, but yeah, this is most likely potion brewing rather than dinner.
I don't suppose what kind of potion. Granted, I am no alchemist, but
From smell alone, I'll allow you an Arcana check, but it's going to be difficult.
well, how's a natural 20 on a 27 sound?
You think back to much, not necessarily your own knowledge, but there's a lingering memory on the scent, and this feels like this actually might be an older recipe for like healing potions.
It's like my grandmother's recipe for a potion of healing.
It's more the fact of there are, over the years, different communities have managed to get different materials for a healing potion, and the go-to recipe has always been a bit more. Basically, the world has adopted the most common ingredients and the cheapest to produce variant that does the job. This is one of those ones that's you're pretty certain that this is some sort of healing brew from way back in the day.
I have to imagine that healing potions at best taste like pesticide. So the flavors mixed in are kind of designed to help cover it, and Ruby will, whoo! Huh! Yeah, that's a potion of healing in works.
Yeah. Imagine someone's trying to cover arsenic with a mulled wine. That's kind of...
It's a... really spicy. Woo! Make my eyes water.
The clearest your sinuses have been.
Yeah.
Years.
You would also know that this particular healing potion you never drank. This is one that you poured on open wounds.
Okay. All right. She shrugged at that. I don't know where she is.
Still
There's not a lot of spaces she could be. She's got
Unless she was outside. And that was her.
Jawa speaks up. From what I'm aware, she never leaves.
Oh.
Breton's just going to take an opportunity to start walking around the living area and searching it.
Sure. Like I said, there is a corridor that leads away from this chamber that you know of. There is, like I said, there also seems to be an almost like living room area. Some plush seating. Seems to be like a side table. There's also there's like a couple of paintings hanging in not sort of framed in a way that you would commonly see these days, but they're like hanging. Clearly made from an older parchment. And you see the visage of 4 different individuals. Three female and 1 male, all in 3 sort of almost bannerets hanging up. This also, they seem to be in an old, it seems to be an old Azdakian sort of style. You also again see the large statues, with what seems to be, as well, I'll say from your pretty high perception, Breton, there seems to be an area in front of the 3 statues in the ice that seems to be a bit more worn in the flooring, like either something spends a lot of time on the floor there, or it's worn away for some reason.
Floors are made out of ice, so the suggestion that a part of the floor is just warmer is paradoxical to me. At least I assume the floors are also made out of ice, since you seem pretty much everything here is made out of ice.
It seems to be in some regard, or an icicle like structure.
Did you say warmer or worn?
Worn.
Okay, I heard warm. I'm like,
Right,
that's...
sorry. Worn. Well, I suppose it could be warmth that worn it away, but no, it's as in rub. It's more. It's almost like it's like divoted.
That makes a lot more sense then. This particular patch of ice is a little warm compared to the rest. I'm sorry, what? So somewhere that they frequent here. But it's still not evidence of where this individual is, so it's not what we're looking for yet. I think Breton would just also, like, because you said this is not the room that we were heading to. This was in a hallway that was leading to the room, or?
No, so this is now the room that you opened up into. This is the large chamber.
Okay, so this is in the room. This is the chamber itself. Still no sign of her, just sign of... I don't know, worship? Homage? Hard to say, really.
How long until my eyes work?
If you all, unless you guys actively want to investigate something, I will say that your eyes would probably be coming on about now.
Alright, well, if they do come on, I would like to do a scan around, try and see if there's anything around that is hidden, invisible. Take a look at the statues again and see what's up.
Valymr, the first thing you see is that there is, it seems, a number of hidden doors in this room. One seems to be behind the like parchment-ish paintings. The other seems to be behind a bookcase.
There's a lot of hidden doors in this this room. One there, another behind there.
Wow.
The other thing you notice, Valymr, is there are almost shadows to the main statues, reaching out into the ethereal plane.
I'll pass that along as well and say, Ruby, you are a bit more knowledgeable about this kind of thing than I am, maybe. Or Breton as well, with your thing
Would that
about
if I could,
planar doodads. What could that mean?
would that if I could see it, Valymr. Unfortunately, you're the only one who has the capacity.
Shadows into the ethereal plane.
It's like the to be clearer, it's like the statues have a shadow in the ethereal plane.
Is it possible for me to minor illusion what it is I'm seeing? Like a little mini statue in my hand.
You kind of. You can give a rough estimation, but it's essentially like the statues have a shadow, but it's only in the ethereal plane.
Tell you what, give me how long does it take to attune items under these new rules?
I don't think we can use this thing to do that again today.
No, but I could
just attuning to an item. No, like
Yeah.
you would normally attune to an item.
It's an hour still for attunement, I believe.
give me an hour, and I'll unattune from the Voyager staff and attune to my Gem of Seeing.
I could also look, but Breton's expertise is not knowing stuff like that. He's not any good at Arcana.
Party sheet, Gem of Seeing.
Are there really any shadows being cast in this place because of all
No.
the ice? So it's specifically just the ethereal plane.
Yes.
Like, so when Valymr is looking at this on the ethereal plane, does it seem like the statues are not made of ice on the plane in the way that they could actually cast shadows?
They're a little more solid, yes.
Can I throw out another divine sense?
Alright.
Sure.
Well,
I will do that then.
she definitely has there's evidence of her being here in the physical world, but is this a... Yes, correct. Well, she's attuning. I'll wait for Ruby to finish attuning to the Gem of Seeing. But once she uses her true sight on that, I'll also cast See Invisibility.
Okay.
Because See Invisibility allows Breton to see into the ethereal plane.
Nice. Okay.
Want to give me the hour? But upon completion, I will true seeing myself.
Okay. So you guys are just gonna wait an hour, not doing anything?
Unless otherwise required.
I mean, it depends on, like, does divine sense pick up anything?
Within 60 feet?
Okay.
We were told to come and meet with this individual, and it's like, all right, cool. You're in your house. You're not home. Starting to look around without your permission and going through your things is, not a polite thing to do. I'm not trying to be rude here.
It wasn't the witch that invited us, though. It was.
We were
Even
told
more
to
reason
come
to
in.
not look around and,
Yeah.
go through people's things. A very powerful entity like this, you jump into their house, you start snooping around. That's like, all right, well, now there's going to be some consequences. You weren't supposed to be doing that.
Can I wander over to the bookshelf and just... Are there names of the books written on the spines?
Touch this and you die. Touch this and I'll turn you into a frog.
No.
Do these books look old?
Yeah. Bar one book.
On an even number, I'm going to take one. Not take one, but pick one up.
There's one book that looks really new and does actually have it doesn't have a name on its spine, but it has like a crest.
Oh, what is the crest? Do I recognize it?
Make a
The
history
bigger question about me is, can you read right now? Oh, all right, sorry, you get true sight up to 10 feet regardless. You're fine.
If he goes, yeah, like right up to the bookshelf, he can.
Big history vibes. 15?
Seems to be the sigil of the university in Benumdum.
This is... Remember that group of people we were talking to in Benumdum? Isn't this theirs? I'm gonna pick the book up.
Okay. It's a sort of a dark green leather-bound book. It just has the sigil of the university on the spine.
You mustn't read from the book!
There isn't anything on, like, there's no title on the front. Seems to be like a protective cover it's on.
Do I get any magical vibes from said book?
Do you get any magical vibes from said book? Does Valymr have a way of detecting magical vibes from a book?
Proficiency in Arcana? No, okay.
I'll allow you to make an Arcana check, and I'll tell you how these vibes feel.
Okay.
Give me an Arcana vibe check.
12.
I don't know, man. You picked up a blank book in a witch's lair. I don't know what you want me to tell you in terms of the
I am
magosity of a book.
the majosity of the book. Okay, well, I will cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
Because I, like, Witch's Lair, bookshelf, could be full of... Yeah, I'm gonna do Detect Magic.
Yeah, you see a whole boatload of magic around this place. The book you're holding, though, no.
Okay, well, I will open the book.
It seems to be a... like... less of a written... book, like factual knowledge, like, but it is pages upon pages of genealogy.
Of whom?
Various noble houses. Bless
Noble
you.
houses of where?
Lots of varying places. Some of them in the Azdakian Caliphate. Some of them Legorange land. Some of them like from Longreach, from Solarum, all sorts. It seems like a compendium.
Did Ruby's mother mention where she went to university? She said
No.
she went to university with a member of the Caliphate. She didn't say, I don't remember her saying where she went to university. This would be the first time we've heard a university mentioned since. Actually, I guess that's a broad question, Mitch. In our knowledge of, the realms, how many universities would there be to choose from? Like, because we've traveled Longreach, we've traveled Nardathal quite a bit, so I don't imagine it's just like this is the one. There's probably more, but
No. There's probably about hang on. There's one in Reshin. There's actually two in Reshin, as well as various polytechnics and design schools, etc. It's Reshin. There's one major university in Gevalu. There's no university. Oh no, there is a. Yeah, no, there's no universities in the Rien. There's 3 in the Eladrin Empire for various schools. One of them is like a magic school. One of them is more like a general university, etc. Then there is one in Atria. There is the one in Benumdum. The Caliphate has a university, and so does Kaiteng.
Mm-hmm. So broad question there, but yes. So either she recently started researching noble houses of the various peoples. Why?
if I flip to the end of this book, what is the latest entry? And does it go to the end of the book, or is it like something that is still being filled in?
This book is it's like alphabetized by region.
Okay.
So there isn't but it is a completed compendium.
Okay.
You would actually be able to read that there is a year published in the beginning of the book.
What year is it published?
1401.
That was 21 years ago.
Yes.
21 years ago.
Oddly enough, about the same time, my mother would have been in university. Ruby's mother.
Does
How old is Ruby?
26, I think.
Does the book have any written by Doodly Bobber and what's his face anywhere? Front, back, the forward?
No, it just says compiled by the University of Birmingham.
Okay.
You would assume that this would be a compendium of, say, reading through it. It seems like this has been compiled by a department.
Okay.
But there are other books there as well. Just as a note, there are plenty of other books. Some of them magical.
Can I pick up what kind of magic is coming off, say, one of the magical books?
Give me a moment.
Okie dokie.
One's very much giving off like like conjuration magic. For example.
I feel relatively safe picking up a conjuration book. Sure, I'll take a look and see what's up with it.
Okay. The book is very, very cold to the touch.
Significantly colder than the previous book.
Yes, in fact. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no. Okay.
The fact that everything here is made out of ice, but he felt the need to tell you that this book is cold to the touch should have been the first flag.
21.
Yeah, you notice how cold it is, and you pull your hand away, and it's like you can see like the almost where your gauntlet and glove froze to the book for a moment.
I conjure a mage hand to hold the book up.
Sure, you can do that.
I will carefully flip through with like my fingertip.
This seems to be a book specifically about an elemental plane of ice and connections with it and calling through denizens of said plane.
Huh. Maybe that's how this place got cursed. It's just multiple, like, portals to the plane of ice all over the place.
You think people would bump into those more often?
Maybe they're in the sky. I don't know. Just a thought, though. Maybe this is something to do with how this place is being covered in this eternal winter.
Is my attunement done?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, if you're waiting an hour, there's definitely some time. Yes, Breton?
I said the thought had occurred that it might have something to do with the elemental plane of ice.
I understand, sorry.
Maybe, I don't know, check another book? Another magical one, perhaps?
In terms of the magical ones, you see an illusory book.
We're sure it's a book.
And a book that seems to be giving off also like abjurative properties.
I'll point out the abjurative one and say I would avoid that book. I think that's probably magically trapped. Abjuration's all about like defenses and such, so just be wary of that one.
It is also not just the bookcase that is pinging on your detect magic.
Yeah.
There is plenty of you're seeing quite a lot of transmutation magic around, just in various parts of the room.
Those statues, what kind of magic are they giving off? Any magic?
They are giving off magic, but not of any that fits one's school. It's not like yes, these are trapped. These are things. No, there's a certain magical energy, but not one that can be described by a category. Something older about them. Outside of the realms of magical schools as defined in paperwork.
Scholar in me scoffs at the idea that there is something that exists beyond the definition of classification. Anyways. So, the statues are magical. That makes sense. They're casting shadows in the ethereal plane, but not in the real plane, which means they have a presence elsewhere. The floor in front of them is well worn, as if somebody has spent a great amount of time there. Would it be worth just... at this point we feel like we're grasping at a bit of straws, but somebody just sitting in that spot and asking them?
I think it's maybe worth a try, sure. Hey, you're volunteering?
I was suggesting the idea, but I suppose that is what typically volunteers want to do anything. I still think, just because I'm not going to cheat Beth out of this, Breton's going to wait until Ruby has finished attuning to the true sight.
If you got a way to go and I don't need to waste it, then go, but...
Okay.
Breton, now you're closer to the statues. Give me a history or religion check, please.
History or religion. Those are the same thing. We'll pick religion, because I don't imagine I know much about Caliphate history. That's a 7 with a natural 1.
We are not historically inclined.
You'll see, you've got the same issue as Valymr. That the facial structure isn't defined enough, or the ice is just playing with the light slightly weirdly, and you never spent much time near an ice sculptor's guild. You're not quite sure what's being depicted here.
See, this is the issue when you don't have contrast. Everything just seems to blend together.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Oh. Breton's gonna just kind of stand in that well-worn spot, kind of looking at each of these statues. Apologies for not being more formal about this, but this is not exactly my area of expertise. We were asked to come here to see the Ice Witch. I'm going to butcher this pronunciation. Swala?
Salwa.
Salwa? I don't suppose you all can offer any insight to that.
Right. Give me a persuasion check.
Persuasion. Technically a thing I'm good at. 17.
Okay. Breton, what languages do you speak again for me?
Breton speaks a number of them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. What are you looking to hear, Mitch? No. He obviously speaks Albion. He speaks Fionian. He speaks Giant. He also speaks Primordial and Dwarvish.
Okay.
So he speaks the plane. He speaks the languages of the elemental planes.
Hmm. A sentence is delivered to you as the statues in harmony all sort of glow slightly. And they are delivered to you, and it's clearly like audible to you in multiple languages at once. Out of the languages you speak, though, you hear it in Primordial. And the voices, it sounds like 3 women's voices speaking at once. And you just hear, Salwa is cold to us.
That's what he hears.
Just for reference as well, Ruby, Valymr, you don't hear anything. You do see the statues glow slightly.
I think we got some bad news.
Hmm.
Statues are saying that Salwa the Salwa is cold to them.
Well, not to be that person, but everything is cold to something around here.
Contextually, I think sorry, what was the position of the ruler of the Caliphate? It was the prince, the emperor, the caliph. Thank you.
They're a religious head.
The caliph.
Think of them as like a religious emperor.
Yeah. The caliph mentioned that should anybody come there, that they were supposed to be pointed in the direction of the Ice Witch. But that would have been, who knows how long ago that would have been. I think, Joala, how long ago was it that the last delivery was made to the Ice Witch?
We only make the trek once a decade.
So, at least a decade ago that the information would have been passed along.
No, sorry, 3 years.
So sorry. I should have said that's my apologies. Within a decade is the last time, but not recent. 3 years. So 3 years ago is when this recent information would have come about. But with all of this going on, it's entirely possible that the same thing has happened to her that's happening to everything that has divine influence or extraplanar influence.
Midge, that cauldron.
Yeah.
It didn't smell burnt, did it? Like it'd been cooking for too long.
It's the thing that I keep coming back to. It's like you don't just leave a boiling pot anywhere, even in an ice fortress. Like that's evidence that somebody's been here recently. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
But it also seemed like for example, the liquid within the cauldron was being turned, but there's like without the need of a spoon in there. Like it was being mixed. Almost magic.
Right, but it wasn't evaporated out, like
No.
it wasn't over yeah. No, I don't think so. I think she's still here somewhere.
Yeah, I think so too.
Why create potions that you're not going to use? Why leave a
As you expect somebody's going to be coming for it. I mean, if this is all something that has come about because of the hole opening in the sky, that's been 3 days. I don't know how long it would take this to spoil or go wrong, but potions typically take a while to make, last I checked.
No, but they require constant work. You can't leave them unattended. As soon as I'm finished chanting this, I'll see what I can find out.
I will say about this time, you can reattune now to the gem of seeing.
And she will put true seeing upon herself.
Sure. You see the like Valymr, you see one secret door behind one of the bookshelves. You also see one behind the paintings in the living room, and then you also see these like shadows being cast by the 3 statues, and a little bit more of a solid form to them, like almost like there's a core, but not anything that like manipulates them to be, oh, there's something else there. It's almost like they are themselves stretching into that plane.
So you say they're casting a shadow.
Yes.
Is there something that is giving off, I can't say light because that's not really the correct term, but if I'm looking at an object and there's a shadow behind it, if I look to its distant opposite,
would be the doorway. Would be the doorway out of here, like the doorway you entered through.
Is the door open?
Currently, yes. You didn't close the door.
Would it matter if it was closed, considering, or is the ice there opaque?
Oh, it's opaque. You couldn't see into the room.
Okay, fair enough.
Close the door.
That is an important distinction.
Okay. Jowl was nearest because she stayed up there. She'll close the door.
Does the shadows of them seem to fade at all?
No. You do see their faces a little clearer, though. Again, you see a bit more like facial structure to them. It's 3 very clearly... Well, the central image, the central statue is of a much older woman, with probably in her 60s, but still very, very... All of these statues, very beautiful physique. And then the 2 side women are actually look almost identical.
Identical how? As in same age as the middle one, or?
No, they look identical to one another. They don't look like the central woman. They look like...
What do they look like?
Younger. Clearly a different person to the central image, but it's like center person is this older woman.
The center one let it go.
No, it's almost like there's one of this
Oh, fuck you, that was funny.
I have been keeping a mental tally of how long it takes somebody to make that fucking reference. It took us almost an hour. Congratulations,
Yeah,
guys. We managed to restrain ourselves quite a bit.
We're
The
all thinking it from minute one, though.
yeah.
I'm sure, but we managed to restrain ourselves. You know what? I'm proud of us.
The best bit is right now Beth is frozen.
Beth's camera is absolutely just frozen in the contemplation pose, so...
I've got her halfway stood up.
So the central image is of an older woman, and then the two side statues are of a different younger woman. The center woman's probably kind of a bit fey in the visage, but not quite. Whereas the woman that's depicted either side is sort of more humanish. Whilst they physically look the same in the face, however, the two side statues are dressed differently.
So the two on the side look basically the same.
Mm-hmm.
One might consider or even assume that they might be twins. The older woman in the middle, and there was also a male statue.
No, so there's 3 women and a male in the paintings.
I mean, your male paintings. Are the women in the paintings the same as the statue?
No.
Different. Okay.
No.
Dude. Actually, let's just focus on the statue for now. The painting, we can go back to it later. Maybe if we need to. Is there any family resemblance in the statues? Like, do the younger women at least bear any like similarity to the older woman?
No. Outside of the two side statues looking the same, there's no familial resemblance to the statues.
Alright, so it's not nostalgia, I think is the guess here. At what point do we just say, alright, we've expended every path we can to try and find this individual in the polite way. Do we just need to search these secret rooms?
Sorry, I'm logging back in. My
It's okay.
cat stepped on my headset.
We got an extra frozen joke in while you were away because your camera froze.
Oh.
So it's all good. Just to catch you up very quickly, what you've seen now is the central woman is an older woman, like the central statue is an older woman, and the two side statues seem to be the same woman but in different clothes. Not as in the central, as in left and right are copies of each other in different clothes. Center is different.
Okay.
Older woman, younger woman. Older woman a little bit fey in ancestry. The younger woman a little bit more humanoid.
Detect magic give off anything from these statues other than it's unknowable?
Just unknowable, kind of ancient magics.
Interesting. I agree with Breton.
You have felt magic this old before? Yourself?
With elemental magic?
Yes, and you also
Astral
felt
pariahs.
it with the astral pariahs, yes.
I think Breton's right. We've extended as much hospitality as we're willing to grant. Perhaps we should investigate this place further.
You said there's this big chamber here, and then there's a corridor leading off from it.
Yes, there is another side chamber.
Maybe we go down that corridor. Maybe she's just that's where the bedroom is, and she's just having a nap or something. But yeah,
I thought this was the room that was off of that main chamber. I thought that's how we'd gotten here. Miscommunication is a thing that happens. It is okay. Start with the civil rooms and then move on to the not so civil rooms.
Yes. So you've got one room you've got this one large chamber that all of this like living space and statues have been in. And then there's like a doorway that you can all see naturally that's not the main entrance that you came in from, like the other side. It would have been off to your west if you were north facing coming into the room, into this large chamber. And then at the like southeast and southwest of the room, there is the two hidden doors.
Do we want to try one of the hidden doors?
Lead on.
I will lead us on to a hidden door.
So you're going for the hidden doors, not the visible door.
No, let's go visible first.
Okay. Let's. The communication, because like that. I thought this was the chamber off. This is not. This is the first chamber. So let's go to the second chamber first before we go.
So you go down the. There isn't a direct door there, but at least not visibly at first. You begin to go down that sort of hallway. It's got a slight curvature to it. There's no it's all again just more of this ice sheet. There's no artwork on these walls, but eventually you come up to another ice door, not as large as the last one, where the last one was big chamber door, sort of 10-foot large door. This is more of a 6-foot door, with the ice is intricately carved with snowflakes and stars.
It'd be amiss if we didn't at least
You knock the
give
door.
it a knock.
Mm-hmm. You knock the door, and again, there's no reply. But it was also knocking on the ice doesn't exactly give the same as knocking on a wood or a stone door. It's very muted.
Can I lean down and whisper through the keyhole? Do you want to build a snowman?
There isn't a keyhole.
Does True Sight give this is a visible door for everyone? Does True Sight give any indication of look, it's a secret handle or
Nope.
And it's not. I'm seeing nothing extra.
No.
Oh, we are respecting your authority for privacy, but at this point there may be concern for an individual's well-being, so we are coming in anyways.
Is this a long-distance wellness check?
Hello,
Can you check on my bow?
And Breton's gonna open the door.
As you push the door to open, the door actually just melts.
I didn't do that. Well, I guess conceivably I did, but that wasn't the intention.
Mm-hmm.
Is it now a puddle on the floor?
No, it just all of the moisture retracted into the ice around it.
I think it's supposed to do that.
And in
How
front
do you close a door like this?
Magic.
You cast Shape Water and refreeze it.
That's so much effort for opening a door.
Is it really that much effort for an Eldritch being, though? I mean,
in the chamber ahead of you, it's again much smaller chamber, just a circular room with one statue in front of it. But there's again another ice statue. This one's about 6 foot rather than 10 foot. And you see a visage of a woman, but this one's enshrouded fully in cloaks, and her hands are out in sort of a what's it called? Holding an orb sort of position, but levitating in the hands of this sculpture is a rotating, ever sort of energized ball of ice. Sort of
magic, I assume.
Yeah, and it's also you're seeing massive amounts of evocation magic from this ball of ice, and it the ice ball as well, snowing. It is just Imagine someone had balled up the torment of an ice storm and held it in place.
So I'm gonna ask a question here. There's two clarifying answers that I'm gonna ask about, but they could be both of them are wrong. Does this seem that this is either a portal or, and this is also entirely likely, and Brett has no way of probably knowing this. Does this seem to be? Could this be the epicenter of this snow? Like, this is quite literally a condensed, concentrated magical essence of ice. Like, is this like representative of like the key aspect of what is keeping this place cold?
Give me an Arcana check.
I will make an Arcana check that is not going to go well because Breton is. This is Lake theorizing and being like,
sure.
Here's the thing. I don't know. I got a natural 20 for a 21.
Breton.
Of course I did.
Breton.
Can't get that on Zarin, but you can get it on Breton.
You travelled for a while with Zedaar, who was otherworldly
expert,
attuned to portals. You would know this is no way big enough for a portal. But a source of great magic, this is definitely along those lines.
Yeah. Jwala, do you know if anyone that has ever made the tribute, like, has they been allowed to explore these chambers? Have they ever been to this room? Has anyone ever mentioned something like this?
Jala, who has been keeping like a good... At all times, she's been keeping like 20 feet back from you guys because she's like, I'm not sure I should be in here, kind of like the whole vibe for her. It's like once she closed the door, she did tentatively come down, and then she hears you calling out, and she comes up the corridor and she says, I have no idea. Honestly, I mostly stay by the door. I've not heard anything mentioned of this place. I can't get over how kind of cozy it is. In a weird way.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to find. It's evidence of something, and it tells us a little bit more about this place. But unfortunately, it does not do one thing. It does not tell us where the witch is. So we are still going to have to find her.
Breton, you're very perceptive. Give me because of your passive perception, give me a perception check.
That's another natural 20 for 27. On Friday, quick story time. On Friday, I've been running one of Beth's games just as a courtesy and for reasons. There was a combat. In that combat, I must have rolled 30 natural 20s.
What?
Like, there were a lot of attack rolls being put out, but I swear to goodness, I have never rolled so many natural 20s in my life.
Buddy,
Somebody...
stop. Leave this session right now. Buy a lottery ticket.
Somebody had had an item called the Iron Horn of Valhalla. And summoned a shit ton of berserkers.
Like, the sheer numbers were high, but the aggregate average of my 20s was also very high.
Pretty high game.
Please.
Everything was getting crit in that encounter.
Please, buy a lottery ticket, please.
If I thought I would get away with it, I would, but that's my luck doesn't extend to...
Okay. Either way.
Scratchers, sure. Lottery tickets, no.
Breton, you see something very peculiar. Especially in this...
Also, he also has see invisibility up, so he can also see into the ethereal plane.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just for reference, because I did put that up after the true sight went up.
Ethereal plane actually hasn't done much here. Other than, again, actually this statue does have like a bit of a core and a shadow. Mm-hmm. You see a puddle of water next to the statue.
A puddle of water next to the statue.
Yeah.
A puddle of water that, despite the temperatures in here has not frozen over.
Correct.
What in the name of the gods and the Chevaliant is a puddle of water doing here? Actually, you know what? That's not even... What is not even the proper way to ask this question? How? How is a puddle of water here? Unless it's... Like, if Breton just walks over and he, like, looks at it closely, does it seem like this is extremely recent?
You would say that this water is coming from the statue.
The statue is melting. I mean, that information will get relayed, like, the statue is melting. When we were at the Oasis, the Mother of the Wilds, it seemed like her influence was waning, and thus the safe spots, the Oasis, were also fading. We don't know where the Ice Witch derived her power. Did she also derive it from the gods? Has the connection there also waning? Like, is the ice also just beginning a natural thaw, but it is a far longer process considering just how all enveloping it is?
Why would everywhere else get colder, though?
Why would everywhere else get colder if the source is melting?
I think this is a destabilization. Midge, do I get the impression that this orb... is it like an anchor to a spell or to a ritual that is no longer being attended?
You would surmise that this orb is pure power. It could be used as such.
Can I ritually cast Identify on it?
I don't know that you'll be able to.
The question is, is it a physical, tangible thing that can be touched? If the statue doesn't represent, if the statue can't be used for that, it's a good idea.
I could distant cast it if I don't want to touch it, which makes touch 5 feet. But if Midge says identifying it won't work...
To re-describe the orb, it is a fluctuating ball of ice and frost element levitating between the hands of this statue.
Does the statue? So the statue appears to be like it might be melting.
Yes.
Does the statue seem like it is? Is it visibly diminished? Like, can Breton make sense of how recent this process has begun? Like, is this a thing where, for the longest time, this thing has been sitting in a fridge, but within the last couple days, the fridge has just turned off, and now this is beginning the steady melting process that will inevitably...
Give me a nature check, bro.
Nature check for that. Well, listen, I can't keep rolling natural 20s. It's just not statistically possible. That's a 13.
Okay. Couple of hours, perhaps?
Couple of hours, so not even days. But we can assume over-under on that. God, everything about this just feels like she literally went out the moment that we knocked on the front door. That awkwardness of, like, you didn't realize you had guests coming, so you go and you go out to do something the moment before they get here, and it's just... they're just awkwardly left, waiting for you to get back. Statues are melting. The other statues in the room refer to the ice which has gone cold. There's still 2 more rooms to search. Do we want to... Maybe we should just look into those before we worry about everything else.
Sure.
Neither of these 2 rooms have appeared to be a living quarters either, have they?
Not with like a bed, not like a bed chamber, but there was definitely like almost like a parlor-ish area and a kitchen in the previous room. Like that's where the cauldron was in the kitchen a bit, and the paintings were in like the parlour-y bit. But bed, no.
It's also possible she doesn't need to sleep, and Brett is just trying to figure conceptualize out.
I can disable it, I think, but I'm going to hold off on that.
Disable it, I mean...
Dispel it.
Yeah, let's search the other rooms first.
Okay.
Before we even consider what that might lead us to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which of the 2 secret passages would you like to attempt to go through? Would you like
southwest and southeast,
yes.
right?
So you've got essentially the one in the parlor behind the book, the paintings.
The other was behind the bookcases.
Yeah, other was behind the bookcases.
I'm gonna say parlor first. That's my vote.
Agree.
We can't find a way behind the painting.
Okay. The paintings are like, as I said, they're like bannerets. They're like 7-foot hanging tapestries of 4 individuals. The secret door seems to be behind the only male figure. How do you approach?
Valymr didn't really... I guess Valymr just told us there were secret doors, so we'll have to kind of put 2 and 2 together. Like, if he just pulls the banner to the side, is it visibly there? Like, is it just a hole, or...?
No, you see like just like an outline. Almost like the frame of a dimension door in the ice. Because you've still got ethereal sight, right?
Yeah. Oh, for an hour. So
Yeah.
we should have plenty of time on that. Brent will just try touching it like he did the last time. Does it melt away?
It does.
Sometimes simple works.
And ahead of you seems to be a corridor, which goes for about 10 feet.
Brent will make his way towards the end of the corridor.
Okay. As you progress through the corridor, you begin to hear birds.
Mm.
Birds.
Memory.
Yeah, you hear birds, and the corridor itself is curving, so you can't see what's ahead of you.
Okay. That's fine. For some reason, I don't think it may not have any relevance to it, but this reminds me of the when we made our way through the statue in the Time Islands. Well, before we met up with Ulfric again, the god and the God, what would you even call it? Not a diorama. The still of what it was, the memory of that time into that place. I wonder if maybe there's some nostalgia here for what the Caliphate was. I apologize. The Caliphate was something before it was a desert too, right? There were forests here? Or was the Caliphate always a desert?
It was always had some attributes of a desert, but the entire place wasn't a desert. There was tropics, there was savannah, there was mountain terrains, there was
That's what I was like that's my mixing my world lores, but that's like I thought that was something.
Yeah. No, it's
yeah, Breton's gonna follow the passage. He's not gonna shy away. He's gonna see where this leads.
Eventually you come to about a 50-foot chamber, and within it you see on here the birdsong stronger, probably about 20 robin-sized snowball-coloured birds flying around a single tree. The tree, much like the ones in the main chamber, has ice-like bark of pure white and silver and blue leaves, but this one's much larger. Almost as though the ones in the other room are like mere like offshoots or roots of this much larger tree. It's more yew tree in shape as well. The chamber as well is just beset in this icy stone. It's a lot less. It's a lot more naturally hewn rather than just like pure ice sheet. This is actually surrounded by like frozen rock, more so. And there is just these little wisps of light in the tree. So again, very much like that chamber you saw in the Shatter Shields where you met Ulfric that time. A little deified rest stop. There is also fresh snow on the ground in here.
But no sign of the witch.
Indeed.
For the first time in a long time, Brett and Mrs. Gourd, because having somebody, or Zedaar even, so having somebody who could talk to plants would be really useful right about now. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's a place of protection. Would you even call it that? A shelter. It is just like when we met Ulfric in the islands. I wonder what the significance of that is.
Ruby shrugs at this one. This is starting to irritate her, you can tell.
I think Breton would take a cursory look around, but the goal right now is they're trying to find the witch, and if she does not appear to be here, then the answer must be there's one room left to search.
One left.
And if she's not there, then I don't I don't know what we do. Like, I don't know.
Give
If
me a
there isn't
perception
anything in the
check
next
as you
room, I'd
look
say-
around.
Both of us, or
Either or. You can give one advantage, or
I think Brett's
Well,
got
I
it.
rolled a 24.
24. Brent, you think heavily back to the tree where you met Ulfric, and like the layout of this room is almost entirely the same, just winterized, and it's a different tree. And you remember that within the tree there was a celestial soul protecting that grove, that little resting place. But you also remembered that there was a gap to receive boons. And in a little nook in the base of the roots, you see not a boon, but a clear space in where one would have been.
Gap where one of those would have been.
Wonder if Valymr still has his book.
Which book?
The one that he took off the other shelf.
I think.
No, I put those back.
Okay.
I'll say, just to confirm, Breton will divine sense. Does this tree also have a celestial presence in it?
It does not have a celestial presence, but it does have a fey one.
Breton would not be able to detect that, but
Oh, would you
does-
not? This is not fey.
no,
fiend,
it's
or
it's
undead.
celestial, undead, or fiend.
Then I would say it would be celestial, but there is like, it's not Mount Celestia.
Screw it. You know what? I don't remember what triggered the conversation with Ulfric before. So I think Breton will just step over and just gonna place a hand on the tree and just once more just ask, like, we were told that if we came here seeking answers, we might find the answers to some questions that we would ask.
Right, but there's nothing here.
Breton, make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, he's touching the tree.
Yeah.
That's a 6 for an 18.
You feel like something tried to.
Paladin!
You feels like something tried to reach out for you. Do you allow it to?
Everything about you said this was celestial, but not Mount Celestia. Celestial, and this is more Breton's been exploring so long, he's getting a feel for all these other different types of affinities that we've gotten here.
You
sure.
would say that this is like a celestial level fey.
Yeah, if there is still a divine presence here, despite everything that is happening, and it is making an attempt to reach out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, that's fine. Breton attempted to bridge the connection. There's no wishy-washy there. He's opening the door.
Okay.
Breton would allow the fuck. We're looking for a lead here. Breton's gonna take the risk. Why not?
Sure. You feel a creaking, like in your mind, as something begins to talk to you, and it seems to try a language, and then try another. Finally, it speaks to you in a variation of primordial. Hello. Who am I speaking with? You are warm to the touch. but only slightly.
You like me, you'll love Ruby.
There is
Breton?
Hello, Breton. There is ice in your veins, friend.
It was cold as ice.
Years in the mountains. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Who are you?
I am Gourd.
Gourd. We met with the Caliph of the Caliphate. He told us that we should seek to ask the Ice Witch questions, as she had personally met the king that never was. But as we've arrived here, we cannot find her. She does not appear to be here. Do you know what has happened to her, where she has gone?
Selwa had grown cold again. She needs to be brought back.
Where is she? Oh, I'm not there, sorry.
Oh, so that's Breton. Breton's having this conversation out loud, so everybody else at least getting half of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the statue also said that Sewa had grown cold to them. Brought back? What do you mean by brought back?
It is part of the rituals. Once the cold takes her, she must be brought back.
That one, that's Breton's going to turn towards Ruby and Valymr and say, so the cold's taken Selwa, and they need a ritual to bring her back.
Oh.
Breton's just going to turn his head back to the tree. And what is the ritual?
She had begun it. She had begun what she need.
Where is she?
She had begun the ritual, but the cold has taken her. What would we need to finish it?
There's a creaking again in the bark. You're insightful enough to know that it seems the tree is looking, feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Place her before the mother and warm her with the blood.
Place her before the mother and warm her with the blood. I'm assuming... the mother represents the first statue. The elder statue with the fey connotations. The floor there was worn like something, if something had been repeated there ad nauseum, that would make sense if she has to perform a ritual. Placing her there, we haven't found her, so that's a more complicated thing to do. And warm her with the blood. The potion that was brewing in the cauldron was boiling. even though it was in the ice. I believe, yes, Ruby?
Yeah.
Like it had been simmering there. So I'm going to take a wild guess and say that's the blood.
Her potion of healing is blood?
Representative. It says heal her with the blood.
Okay. Where is she? Bigger problem.
That's the thing we have yet to do. There's still one room we have not searched yet.
Alright.
Thank you, Goran. We will do what we can. I may be back to ask more questions if it turns out that we just aren't very good at this. Sometimes you gotta be humble, like, listen, this is well outside of his expertise. He's meant to banish things, not bring them back.
The Gorham says, "Thank you for sharing with me. Please, if you ever have the time, tell me of your home. There is cold in your veins. I would like to know."
And Breton just kind of pulls away from the tree very gingerly at that. Breton's gonna start making his way back down the tunnel, and he's like, "Ruby, would you describe there being cold in me?"
You have an oddly dispassionate purview of life, for one as enamored with oaths as you are.
Dispassionate view of life. You make it sound like I have no care for the living.
No, not what I meant. You're very logical, analytical. You don't think with your heart on your sleeve like I do.
Years of training, I suppose. There's a time for logic and there's a time for passion.
Well, considering how neither of us embody the other, that's why I think we work so well together. We come somewhere in the middle.
Well, it's fingers crossed and God's willing. Let's search this last room and hope that there's some evidence of her in there. Maybe we can salvage this situation.
Upon you is the onus of our departure, dear.
I'm going to say it was a very good idea to not immediately end the magical effect, knowing that may have very well just cut the rope off for everything.
Again, I was listing options and availabilities, not things I would do. This is not my house, and she has shown no ill intent towards us at all so far.
Ending a curse that has gripped a place for centuries and generations does seem like a Ruby thing. Doing it on a whim just because it's there, I don't think even Ruby is quite that like.
Well, no, Ruby. Brett.
Ruby is not stupid.
Ruby would not like it because she does not believe an infinite punishment for a finite transgression is a just thing. On the other hand, this person ain't thrown hands yet, so look around.
Okay. So you're heading to the bookcase door.
Yeah.
Do I need to roll to see if I can figure out which book you pull to make the magic bookcase swing aside?
Sure.
What would you like me to roll? Is it a flat D20 check?
This will be an investigation, most likely.
Investigation, that's fine. Well, we're all bad at this. Do you also want to help me search, Ruby? Do we search book? Not that one. Not that one.
I'll pull the new book because I was watching
Not that
Valymr
one.
do it. I'll pull the new book because I was watching Valymr do it with a mage hand.
The new book was fine. It was the Frozen book that he made.
Oh. Mage hand the Frozen book.
You were pointed as well to a book that was
There's also a book that was illusory.
Illusory, yeah. And abjurative.
Spell that one, or touch that one
Let's-
then with the mage hand.
Yeah, let's. I'm curious about the illusion book. I'm not gonna lie. I even asked Midge, "Are we sure it's a book?"
You did. So you pull you move the illusory, the book with the illusion magic on it out, and you feel a pulse as the entire bookcase melts, revealing a door.
Did the books just fall on the floor?
No, they seem to go with it.
They disappear with it. Okay, that's more logical. I don't know if you're gonna shape.
I don't know if
I don't know.
logical is the right term.
No, I was gonna say I
When
don't
a
know if you can
bookcase-
shape water
When
that.
a bookcase and the material components of books on it, including magic items, fade into ice. I'm not sure
Yeah,
if
I think-
logic's correct as a term there.
It's funnier than what I said, so that's. I'm glad I got a kick out of something. No, shape water. I don't think shape water is gonna fix that. Good call. One more hallway, one more room. I think. If evidence and repetition is
This one has more just of a divot in the wall and then another door. This door, however, is stone, not ice.
Never one to forego formality. Breton's gonna give it a. He'll give it a knock with his gauntlet, and then probably give it like a really solid like banging with his hand too.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem to get a reply.
Didn't think so. Breton's just gonna see if he can't open the door. Is there a handle? Is it a push? Is it a
There seems to be a handle on this door.
blow it open?
It is locked.
This one is locked. Very well.
Open it with enthusiasm.
It would be nice if it could lock. We don't have any magical way to open this, do we?
I do not know knock, sorry.
Brett will take a deep sigh. Very well. I shall knock. And Breton is just going to pull on this door until it opens. I guess is the way to put it.
Open it with enthusiasm.
Give me a strength or athletics, please.
Sure. Athletics, because we love athletics. That is a 25.
25. After some
Encouragement.
encouragement of the lock, it's cold enough that the metal shears in the ice, and you can pull it open. In front of you,
I could fix that. I know I have the skills and know-how that I could fix that if it needed to be a thing. You know what? It's fine. He'll just pull the door open.
in front of you, Brennan, you see a room. It's pitch black, but to the left of the door, you do see the place for a torch. Like what do they call it? Like a torch holder.
A sconce.
A sconce. That's the one. Thank you.
Does anyone have a torch? Because I actually don't carry torches.
I actually do from the very beginning of the campaign. I have never lit them. I have them from my explorer's pack.
Part of me is like I'll get off the tinderbox, but then I immediately realize I'm sitting next to the tinderbox. Ruby has this.
Yeah.
Is there a torch already in the sconce?
No.
Oh,
That's why I was asking. Who does somebody have a torch?
then she'll put a torch
Valmyr's
into
got
it.
one. Valmyr just said he's got one.
Then she'll put a torch into it and then rub a finger over it, and it'll just woof,
Yeah.
catch fire immediately because
You-
of Phoenix stuff.
You see a very remedial chamber compared to the others. This looks to be an old laboratory, ancient almost. Like, this is old. This room is not anything like any of the rest of the place. There's dust. It's a stone room as well. It's actually carved. It's like there's not ice in here. There is rotting wooden furniture. There is Yeah, a lot of, we'd say, normal furnishings. Old, very, very old, in a style you're unfamiliar with. But also there is another one of those parchment paintings hanging. This is another woman. Brett, make a quick perception check.
My guess is that this is a self-portrait, and this woman is the same as the woman who is holding the orb. That's a 12.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
But yeah, the player has put some things together. The character is a little slower on the uptake. Where she used to live, maybe before the ice took over, when things were normal.
Might not be lived,
so
but
thinking
definitely were worked.
Worked, most certainly. Burton's thinking back to that statue. The statue that was around the orb, or like holding, looks like it was like holding around the orb. Was it attached to the floor? Or was it just freestanding?
Freestanding.
Like
Floating.
there wasn't like a dais that it was sitting on. It was just
No, yeah,
on the
it was
floor.
just on the floor. With water around it as well.
Yeah. Were the statues in the other room, did they have a dais under them, or are they also the same way?
They're the same way.
They're the same way. Okay. So Breton takes one look around this room, sees there's no evidence of the ice witch, and says, "The ice witch has gone cold to them. In the room with the orb, there was a melting statue. I think she's the melting statue. I think the statue needs to be moved in front of the others, and you mentioned that the potion was applied via rubbing it on, not by drinking it.
Yeah.
I think we should move her to where the floor has been worn and apply some of that to her. I think that might be how you complete the ritual.
I'll get some files. You get her over there.
I will be... Yes, I need to be very, very ginger. Don't want to drop her.
I would also drink your potion of cold resistance just in case.
I'm already resistant to cold.
Okay.
I don't think it would make me more resistant is the point.
Resistant. You can
You
stack
can't stack
resistances.
resistances. Yeah, you can't stack resistances, and being resistant twice does not give you immunity, so it wouldn't help me. No, we got those purely for you and Valymr to get out here, because that was the plan. But yeah, so we'll make our way back into the main room. Breton's going to make his way down the hall towards where that was, and he's going to see very gingerly, like, he'll take a closer look too. Does it seem like this is the statue, because the first impression was that it was holding this. Does it seem actually more like her hands were just kind of like cupping it in a way that you would be like appreciating it, or not manipulating it, but like appraising it?
Ooh. Give me an insight check to insight.
Insight check. Insight, that's sort of fair. I'm also not proficient in insight, but you know what? We're going to keep using all the skills today. You think I can fit animal handling in here at some point? Like, we're just rolling through
Go
everything.
talk to those little pigeon birds. Go talk to the little pigeon birds.
It's an 18.
18? Here you are. Here's a photo for reference.
Hey, photos. I love photos. Photos are great.
It's in the handout.
Yeah, if Breton very gingerly, he's gonna see like if he just goes to like shift the statue, it's not attached to the floor, is it?
Doesn't feel like it. In fact, it feels kind of slidey where there's water.
I'm gonna be kinder, and Breton is gonna very gingerly like gripping like not the underside of the shoulders because he doesn't want to put too much weight on the shoulders just in case the ice is not sensitive. Like
Also,
right around the.
As you manipulate it, as soon as it leaves the spot it was in, the ice, like crystalline energy, gone. Completely dissipates. As in the one that was in her hand. Or,
Yeah, Breton just stares at that for a second, like. No one needs to know about this until it's too late. He's good. Logical. That's the logical choice. Nobody needs to hear about this. Let's fix this problem before we worry about what that might have done. He's going to just lift her like by the waist and just like try and carry her from a
Give me
heavy
another
central point.
athletics, please.
Athletics, sure. Yeah, I mentioned this is less about how heavy she is and more just he doesn't. We make sure he doesn't drop her.
This is just weight distribution.
27.
It takes you a little while to go like the almost 150 feet to the other room.
I legitimately thought, what if I literally just thought, like, would it be smarter to just slide her? But my brain immediately went to like, how much grinding is that going to do? And is that going to like wear away the bottom? Let's not do that. Let's carry. We're strong enough to do that.
But you do manage to set her in the
ward away spot in front of the other statues.
And when you set her down, the power returns between her hands.
Good. Okay, so that's not a thing we need to worry about.
Yeah.
Putting these together, Ruby, I think she was basically preparing it in the other chamber, and time caught up with her. Maybe hopefully this fixes her. We can just ask her ourselves. Do you care to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take some of the files and pour it over.
You're taking files. I would have said you would have found like a large like ladle as well in the kitchen area if you wanted to go for that, but files work. You begin to pour slowly.
Imagine doing that. You ladle it out, hand under, carrying it over to the statue.
But the more you pour on, the more the ice turns to like a blue fabric in places of the clothing. And whilst like as you get her skin is still blue or like a blue-white hue with like ice in her veins. And there is all this ice, like there is ice about the this entity. But slowly it turns less into like an environmental ice form, more just a physical attribute of her being. As you slowly melt her.
Reach over with a hand. Can I cast heal on her? Or is it the water, the liquid itself that I get the...
So you're getting the impression of every bit of the liquid that you pour on her thaws a little bit more of her.
Oh. Then All right, let's take a few trips back and forth. Be like Han Solo with the carbonite right now. I need a button instead of ladles, but...
Yeah, like you're doing that, and Brett is just like searching through the kitchen. He's like looking for a cauldron, something that he could like maybe siphons.
Just pick up the cauldron.
If we could just move the cauldron, yes, Brett, we'll just move the cauldron.
Dump it on her like a football winner at the Gatorade.
It's been sitting on the fire, but there's no reason it needs to stay on the fire. You're right. For some reason, I pictured it like in this ice like cauldron that was literally like growing up out of the floor.
Oh, it was.
But then I realized.
But you can certainly undo that.
I would feel bad undoing it. Can we just remove the cauldron from it?
You get the impression to get the entire cauldron to go, you will need to break it from the floor.
I imagine Breton thinks about that for like a whole minute before he's like, you know what? She's literally got everything else made out of ice in this place. I imagine she can make another one. And he'll just like shift it to move it so where Ruby's not having to basically run like 20 feet every time to do this trip.
Breton, you get the impression as you pull and it breaks away, the way that it breaks, it seems like it was intentional.
Okay, good.
You know, that is that easy release ice. But the lattice patterns of the legs that were holding it up, basically, they break in such a way that it's a completely clean break, and you're like, that seems intentional. At least that's what you're reasoning.
It's like snapping it off a 3D printer.
Yeah, yes, it's exactly that kind of motion. It's a weighty cauldron, but you can certainly lift it.
It's Breton's purpose in this party. Carry the heavy shit. Breton will just kind of like, he won't set it down, he'll just kind of like hold it next to Ruby, so it's a far more simple process to just ladle this onto her liberally.
Bloop.
Okay. You go with the ladle method, and eventually, as you get to the last drop of the cauldron,
I wanted to go on record. We chose to ladle it. Brett did not just upend this entire thing over her head.
Mm-hmm. And as the steam from the potion hitting her body seeps up into the air, like snapping of ice, like stepping on a frozen puddle, her body begins to move. And as she turns to speak to you and looks at you with her cold face, almost like that of a sparkling corpse in the ice. We're going to end tonight's session a little early. Sorry for the half session, everybody, but we're going to take a short one. A
rough day going around for everyone.
It's a rough day going around for everyone, so we got at least a little way into the story. We got this, should we say, this puzzle period sorted. But we'll be back next time with meeting Salwa, the Ice Witch. But yes, all I've got left to do is to thank those who have been here. Thank you so much to Bethany, Rose, to DM Lake, and to Lord Lambert. I've been Midgeman, and we'll be back next time. Hope you enjoyed this shorter session. We'll see you around soon.